Hey everyone, and welcome back to the breakfast show. Yes, I had to put on the lucky shirt from yesterday again because yesterday, when I did sign off, things were greener than when the day ended. So we'll try it again. We'll try it again. Now, if you are wondering if you have personal issues with ChatGPT, X, or some other websites, you are not alone. The issues are with Cloudflare. So Cloudflare is having some issues right now. You can follow it on their own website here, Cloudflare system status. They've identified the issues and a fix is being implemented. Okay, but I guess it's been an hour or so and we're still not seeing anything fixed as of right now. Now, of course, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Now, with Cloudflare basically having issues, X is having issues, I cannot show you what I wanted to show you. We can still look at some charts and talk about stocks. Klarna did report their quarterly figures. Their website is working, so we can have a look at that for sure. Some people will say, yeah, I mean, if ChatGPT isn't working for you, you can always use Gemini. There is Gemini 3 that has been or is going to be released pretty soon. I've seen already a couple of leaks with regards to the performance. Unfortunately, those are on X, and that doesn't work right now. So here we are. So here we are. Of course, tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow there is Nvidia that will report their quarterly figures after the market closes. You should perhaps take screenshot. Well, yeah, okay. I mean, I didn't know things would be down today. If I would have taken screenshots, yeah, that would have been helpful. Or the bigger problem is that I refreshed the page. I should not have refreshed the page. Then at least I would have something to show you guys. But in the meantime, we can have a look at the heat map right now. The pre-market heat map is this. So we're having at the moment, let me actually make sure that it is correct. Yes, it is. Okay, great. At the moment, this is it. Google is up another 1.5%. Lovely stuff. But all the rest, red. Nvidia is red. By the way, Nvidia, the implied move after earnings is at around 7%. At a company worth $4.6 trillion, it's going to be the biggest move. It's going to be the biggest move ever. So Nvidia implied move 7%. Either if it stays at the price that we're at right now, it's either going back to $200 or we go to around 170, something like that. But yeah, Google Google is definitely helping us a little bit over the last couple of days. Now, if we look at the watch list, who's down the most? It's a bit better than yesterday, I would say. So we have Marvel that's down on around 3% or so, Applied Digital 2.7. Yesterday, actually, let's actually go back to yesterday. Yesterday, Google closed up 3%, Nebius was up almost 3%, Oscar was up 2.6, Iron was up 2.2, and Uber was up 0.5%. Very peculiar, right? Very, very peculiar. Now, right now, Oscar is down 2, Robinhood down 2.3, AST 2.4, Iron 2, Amazon 2 as well. Lots of names that are down 2%. And then as for, let's go all the way to, yeah, Core is down another 1.7, AMD 1.4, same as Intel, HIMS, Meta 1.4, 1.4. Then we have Zeta 1.2, and then we go all the way down. Yeah, even PayPal, of course. I mean, even PayPal. Of course, PayPal down 0.6%. Shift 4 is down 0.2% right now. Nothing will happen with Meta. It will be flat. Well, again, the implied move is that it moves 7% up or down. Google can't keep growing if all else is tanking. Well, so far it's been holding. So far it's been holding. Klarna reported. Right now, it seems like the stock is unfazed. It doesn't move. So Klarna is flat. Klarna is completely flat right now. These were the well, actually, they have a little presentation, a 59 seconds video, very cringe, I would say, where they talk a little bit here about the Klarna card. By the way, Klarna card powered by Visa. All of these companies releasing new cards. Most of them, it's either Visa or MasterCard. So these two companies are still making, quite a lot of money. They've seen 4 million people sign up over the past 4 months. That's, yes, some genius math here. That is 1 million per month, of course, 1 million per month. That's not all. These are all of their partners. Huge company. 27 million active Klarna customers in the United States alone. And this is, well, actually, let me just pull this. This was basically their quarter. Merchants are up 38% year over year. Klarna customers overall, active Klarna customers are up 32% year over year. GMV up 23% to $32.7 billion. Remember, PayPal for the whole of 2025 is expected to be at $40 billion, also growing above 20%. Klarna is doing 32.7 in just one quarter. Stefan, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for a continuous heads up the research, for giving us your perspective, and for the authentic way to present it. Appreciate that. Well, my pleasure. And again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining the live streams. Really appreciate all of it. Yes, X is down. Many other things are down as well. It's because of Cloudflare. Cloudflare is having issues. If some of you see that there are no issues anymore with X, let me know. Then we can go and look at things that I wanted to show you before. Anyways, going back to Klarna, revenue $903 million, that increased 26% year over year. Transaction margin dollars $281 million. Adjusted operating loss of $14 million. Now, all in all, they talked here about the credit, the health of the users and all of that. They're still seeing good trends, or at least trends that are not scary, just like all of the headlines that we've seen more recently, which I feel is good to know. Klarna is a huge player, of course. in the buy now pay later sphere. Yes, I know that a lot of the buy now pay later activity is just replacing or a substitute for credit cards, right? Because at first buy now pay later for Klarna is paying for, right? Paying for, but now with this thing right here, fair financing, it's I think between 6 to 24 months or something like that. And here again, you are paying interest rates. You can pay it all in advance. There's no penalty for that. So yeah, it's a bit like a credit card. It's a bit like a credit card. But for merchants, it's good because that means that for big ticket items, the merchants get the whole amount upfront, and the buyer has the flexibility of paying that, let's say, huge couch in not in 4, but maybe in 12 months or so, at of course a specific rate which is disclosed upfront. Some people like it a lot, some others are skeptical about it. I guess I'm somewhere in the middle right now. I've never used a buy now pay later service, um, never had credit card debt either, so I don't know. But if it can make, again, you need to be accepted to use it. By the way, not everybody is getting accepted to use it, because otherwise, yes, delinquencies are going to go up substantially. So if they can make it work, like if every good buy now pay later company can make sure that people spend in a calculated way, pay on time, are not constantly in debt, which means that they'll have to pay even more, then I think it's a good thing. But of course, if your model, underwriting model, and all of that sucks, then we're going back to the same issue as before, the credit card debt that is growing and growing, and nobody's going to repay it, etc., etc., and then everything explodes. Yes, that is definitely a possibility, and probably the worst case scenario here. Probably the worst case scenario. As for guidance, they expect GMV for Q4 $37.5 to $38.5 billion, revenue above $1 billion for the quarter, and transaction margin dollar between 390 and $400 million. The earnings call is probably ongoing, so I guess they'll share more comments on that. What happens if someone signs up for 10 different buy now pay later? Who tracks that? Well, the buy now pay later companies, I assume, would track that. But then again, I'm not 100% sure, but I assume they would track it. They would track it. Can I imagine what would be the? But okay, that's the a good point you're raising here. Well, first of all, how much lower will we be if there were no buybacks? It's a good question. But second of all, the fact that we're still going lower despite them buying back means that they're not buying back aggressively right now. If there was some sort of acceleration in buybacks, I think we would have found a floor. But it does not seem like that's happening right now. Plus, tomorrow there is a Citi analyst conference, and Alex Chris is talking there tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern. So hopefully we'll see. We'll hear what he has to say about the business, Q4, what they're seeing, etc., etc. Yeah, this is the true bull indicator. Waiting for Kramer to say tech is uninvestable. That would be something. That would be something. Let me refresh an X page to see if we are getting somewhere. Oh, maybe. Buy now, pay later? No, we're getting nowhere. We're getting nowhere. By the way, we did get some data. So this is one page where I didn't refresh, but apparently this website is unaffected. So jobless claims mid-October, 232,000, a bit higher than the expectation. The outstanding unemployment claims rose to 1.957 million in the previous week, which was also a little bit higher. but it's not a huge jump. Okay, it's not a huge jump. Unemployment is still probably going to be around 4.3%. It's not a huge jump, which would still, in my opinion, push the Fed to cut in December. We had Fed Waller talk about it yesterday. The problem that he sees is not really that inflation is going to come back above 3% substantially. It's the weakness in the labor market. And that's why he's still pushing for a 25 basis point cut in December. He also talked about the fact that, look, even with the government shutdown, we've had plenty of ways to track economic data. So, again, I guess the decision in December is based on the probabilities right now. I still no cut, but my gut feeling says we are going to see another 25 basis point cut because we are still high, right? We're still at what was it? Let's see if that website works. Yes, that website does work. So these are the probabilities right now. We're back to 50-50. We are back to 50-50. Yesterday was 42.4. So now we're back to 50-50. The current rate is 375, 400. I think they have space to cut 25 basis points. But yeah, we're now at 50-50. A month ago, that was 93.7% probability that we're going to get another rate cut in December. Buy now, pay later is tracked by credit checks portals. Basically, you can't take credits to amount to more than 40% of your monthly income. Okay, so I get, yeah, okay. So that answers the question that the other person had. No, I'm not interested in taking positions in pure buy now, pay later companies. What's your thought on it? Since I have SoFi, I don't see the correlation. I mean, it seems like it's a good business, but I have PayPal. They have a buy now, pay later business that is growing quite rapidly, and so that's good enough for me. I also have the local. We've seen that their buy now, pay later business is growing rapidly. So I don't need a pure buy now, pay later player. But there is one. I mean, Affirm is, I think, still a very good name in this sphere. Sits right above that 20-day. By the way, the S&P 500 yesterday did close under the 50-day for the first time since April. Closed the day. We went under it twice already, but now it closed under. Yes, I've seen the metrics, but it's on X. Refresh the page, it disappeared. So we'll have to wait. So Cesar is off the table for, yes, that's why I chose Rubrik and Shift 4. That's why I chose Rubrik and Shift 4, purely, again, because I already have companies that deal with the buy now, pay later business. I don't need one that does that specifically. That doesn't mean that Cesar is a bad company. It's not, as we've discussed, and I've shown the number, still a growing company. Stock-wise, yes, it got crushed, filled that gap right here. It's oversold, just like many other companies out there. They're oversold. But yeah, me personally, I don't need a buy now, pay later specific company in my portfolio. Let's see if I can. There was also a clip from Sundar that I would love to show, but I cannot. Let's see. Now, where is it? No. SoFi also has Pay in 4. Again, it's added services that a lot of these fintech players are adding and having. It's nothing. Don't think it's nothing special. Which again is why I don't need to go with the pure play buy now, pay later players. where is Oscar right now? Oscar right here. 1 point, okay, 14. Where's the, this is again a question that nobody can answer, right? When it might reach all-time highs, I don't know. I don't control the stock. I don't control the business either. But yes, I own it. I'm still bullish on it over the long run. And yes, I've seen this, that Intuit will pay OpenAI over $100 million a year for model access. GPT integrates with TurboTax. We're going to see. Okay, X might be back. Let's see. We're going to see a lot more of these types of deals, and this is yes. Okay. Whew. Okay, so I have X back, which is great. Perfect. I have X back. How come Amit doesn't go live anymore? I think he does. But what, don't you like it here? Don't you like it here? We talk about everything and we even make jokes. And I know about movies. All right. So X is back. So we can look at some things.
Technology, the excitement
So here is Sundar talking a little bit about AI bubbles. AI bubbles.
of this technology, the excitement is very rational. It's also true when we go through these investment cycles, there are moments we overshoot, right, collectively as an industry. We can look back at the internet right now. There was clearly a lot of excess investment, but none of us would question whether the internet was profound or did it drive a lot of impact. It's fundamentally changed how we work digitally as a society. I expect AI to be the same. So I think it's both rational, and there are elements of irrationality through a moment like this. Of this technology, they excite.
Again, nothing new, but they're all, whether it's Sundar, whether it's Satya, whether it's Andy Jassy or Elon or whatever, they're all talking about the same thing. Look, the secular trend is up and to the right. In the meantime, yes, when you go up and to the right very quickly, yes, you can have bumps along the way. Zuck even said, look, we rather overbuild than underbuild, right? And I think that's the sentiment across the board for these types of companies. Now, of course, these are very healthy companies that are generating hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue and profits. They can overshoot. Some companies cannot. And those companies, just like every other cycle, will go down, or might be acquired, will not be successful. That's just the reality of things. Imagine if Cloudflare was down tomorrow and we couldn't listen to maybe to Nvidia's earnings report. Now that would be something. That would have been something. Okay, number two. Let me find that. Let me find that Gemini thing. Okay, so apparently these are the leaked Gemini 3 Pro model, the model cards. So you have the first one here, Humanity's Last Exam. This is Gemini 3 Pro, 37.5. Gemini 2.5 Pro was at 21.6. And GPT 5.1 was at 26.5. Again, I don't know who verified this. This is just one dude, Cheaty, which is already a suspicious name, that is posting this. But if this is real, well, Gemini 3 cooked, as they say, the young kids these days. But this is Gemini 3, apparently the Pro one. I don't know if this is real or not, but this is what we all probably saw. We probably all saw the same exact post Probably saw the same exact post. Um, no, this is nothing special. What about this? Nada. Okay, let me refresh that. Gone. Nolan, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Really appreciate that. What do I think about Cloudflare? Yeah, it's another one of those scenarios, right? Where it's such a powerful company, one outage screws up a lot of services around the world. Could it be the same as a AWS CrowdStrike type of scenario? Probably, probably. Uh, okay, I guess since oh yeah, Home Depot did report. Okay, voila. So Home Depot did report just to give us maybe a little bit more color on the consumer and things like that. So Home Depot misses on EPS, on operating income, comparable sales, US comparable sales as well, and even for their own guide. Are we surprised? Probably not, right? If housing doesn't recover, if rates are still high, a company like Home Depot is definitely going to feel it. Um, Although I did see that lumber prices have come crashing down, which should help again with the whole inflation story. But yeah, as long as interest rates are staying quite high, you're going to see a dead housing market. You're going to see a dead housing market. They said here, management said Q3 results missed expectations mainly due to a lack of storms, which created more pressure in certain categories, and the expected demand pickup never showed up. They believe consumer uncertainty and continued housing pressure are disproportionately weighing on home improvement demand, even as they see themselves continue to gain market share. Okay. The Amazon, the thing that we talked about yesterday, Amazon's US dollar bond sales did draw about $80 billion of demand. I believe I saw somewhere that it had to be cut in half because again the demand was so the demand was so high. The interest that you're getting on it is not bad, not bad at all. Pinduoduo reported. It says here revenue beat, but I've seen somewhere where revenue did miss, maybe on a dollar basis. Maybe on a dollar basis. Yeah, lack of storm. I think it was a typo. It's like lack of positive catalysts coming their way. I don't think it's like literal storms. Because um, if it was literal storms, I don't think that comment would have been taken quite well. Like a guy wants storms in order for houses to be destroyed, so people will go to Home Depot. Um, but no, I think it's like positive catalysts. So Pinduoduo, all in all, it's another, I'd say, solid quarter. Um, they have a ton of cash, this company, which is also quite strange. They said the following thing. This year marks the 10th anniversary of the company's founding. As we grow in scale, we are prepared to take on greater social responsibility and serve the long term outlook of the entire e commerce ecosystem. In an increasingly competitive environment, we remain focused on the long term and will keep investing in merchant support initiatives to drive industry upgrades and sustainable platform development. Um, Revenue growth continued to moderate, reflecting the evolving competitive landscape and external uncertainties. As we roll out greater merchant support and ecosystem investments, financial results may continue to fluctuate quarter to quarter. That was Pin Duo. Um, so there was a low amount of storms. I mean, it still is a strange thing to say. Still is a strange thing to say. Got some more Boeing news, lots of orders, etc., etc. GitLab got a buy rating from Guggenheim and a price target of $70 ahead of earnings. We expect GitLab to easily exceed the fiscal third quarter 26 consensus top and bottom lines estimates due to a part that we believe is a de-risk second half fiscal 26 guidance set by former CFO. Let's see if we got some multiples. They see GitLab growing 26% in fiscal year 26 and 24 in fiscal year 27, including SaaS growth exiting fiscal Q4 at 36% and 32% in fiscal year 27, to over 20% free cash flow margin for GitLab. Go-to-market and product tailwinds, including the Duo Agent platform. When is GitLab actually reporting? GitLab, let's see. JT. GitLab is... Huh? I'm seeing an expected date, December 8th. Is it possible? Let's see if they have on their own website something updated. Amazon gets a little update right here. Let's see, GitLab, still no official date. But I'm seeing early December is GitLab's earnings report for those interested. Well, is it a downgrade on? Yeah, okay. So Rothschild Redburn downgrades Amazon and Microsoft. They're taking a more cautious view on AWS as a difficult but necessary step. Okay. Interesting. AWS has reaccelerated broadly as we expected, leaving limited scope for meaningful upside relative to buy-side expectations. Moreover, Amazon now finds itself in a similar position to Microsoft, although AWS captures more value within the stack. So positive commentary, yet they downgrade to neutral from buy, set the price target at 250. As for Microsoft, also neutral from buy, lowers the price target to 500 from 560. Okay. First, value creation from Gen AI related revenues is far lower than under traditional Cloud 1.0 economics, as detailed in this report. We don't have the full report. It now takes roughly 6 times more capital expenditures to generate the same level of value, making the business structurally more capital intensive and weighing on long-term cash flow potential with no clear end in sight. Well, if you believe what Satya had said in that Brad Gerstner podcasts, they don't see this as an issue at all. Second, we see value leakage within Office 365 as the integration of third-party models such as OpenAI and Anthropic shifts value away from Microsoft. Okay, but then again, if OpenAI wins, Microsoft wins as well. So Loop Capital did upgrade Google to buy from hold, raises the price target to 320 from 260. Aha, wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. They're raising their target multiple to 20x earnings per share for Google Core business. Multiple revisions on Google Core represents about 2/3 of their target revision. They're also significantly raising their growth outlook for Google Cloud and maintaining their target multiple of 25x adjusted EBITDA. GitLab December 4. Yeah, but I see December 4, but I think it's an estimated one. Estimated date, not yet confirmed by the company. Baidu also reported, another Chinese name. We have Alibaba as well this week. I think. Let's see. We have Alibaba next week Tuesday. Okay, Alibaba next week Tuesday. Baidu here, as you can see, beat revenue, adjusted EPS, operating income, and adjusted EBITDA. But there are some things that are down. Yeah, revenue is down year over year. Adjusted EPS down 33%. So it's down year over year, but it still beats analyst consensus. The CEO highlighted AI Cloud, Apollo Go, and AI native monetization products as the main growth engines across the portfolio. CFO said that AI cloud growth is cushioning weakness in online marketing and that AI powered businesses revenue grew to roughly 10 billion yuan. Yes, up one, up for basically it's up 50% year over year. How long have I been investing? Since 2016. Since 2016. Let's actually see what Pinduoduo is doing. PDD is the ticker. Pinduoduo is down. Pre-market around 3.8%. Baidu is... where is it? Here it is. Baidu is... also down a little bit. Baidu is down around also 4% or so. 4%. Oh yeah, there is one. Now I remember. There is one thing I want to show you guys what happened to the S&P once it closed under the 50-day. Here it is. Here it is. So this is what happened with the S&P 500 after closing below the 50-day moving average for the first time in over 100 days. So that happened yesterday. So a day later, 72% of the time the market was green. On average, we're up let's call it 0.5%. Seems like today that's not going to happen. 2 days later, so hypothetically tomorrow, we could be up because on average, we're up 0.8%. 78% of the time, we were positive, we were green. Then 3 to 4 days later, the probabilities drop a little bit, but on average, we're still up. A week later, it goes up. 2 weeks later, it goes up. A month later, it goes up by quite a lot. If we look at the longer term, right, a week later, 2 weeks, 3, a month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year later, here as well, the further out we go, the more, well, the bigger the upside, right? On average, we're going to go up substantially, double digits after a year. And the amount of times that we are green also, well, increases, although we do stay around 80% or so. There are times where we are going to be red 2 months later, although this happened in 71. But yeah, this is basically what happened with the S&P once we go under the 50-day moving average for the first time in 100 days, which is what happened yesterday. I do wonder if he has the Nasdaq one. Yes, he does. Wonderful. He does have the Nasdaq. So what happened with the Nasdaq over the next couple of days? Well, a day later, which is today, 64% of the time we were green. On average, we're up 0.27%. Then 2 and 3 days later, interestingly enough, here as well, it goes down. The amount of times that we were green goes down to 45%. On average, we are, let's call it flat or maybe even at a loss. 4 days later, only 18% of the time we were green. A week later, only 9%. And on average, you're down over 1%. And then you start to recover 2 weeks later, a month later, recover a little bit. It's still not great for the Nasdaq based on this type of data right here. We don't have a longer term period. We don't have a longer term period. What if it's May? Yeah, no, I mean, well, what if it's, in this case here, 86, right? Well, what if it's 2011, 2017? It's possible. It's possible. Remember, we did this in April, right? In April, 100% of the time when, I don't remember exactly what has happened, we were green the next day. Well, guess what? We weren't green the next day this year because, again, we are in a different different environment. So yeah, this time is different. Yes, I do think so. I do think so. Um, Couch, when the time comes, will you give a get out signal? I well again I've shown you this in multiple videos. There has never been a time where getting out was the correct play unless you were really a professional at timing everything. It's just there will probably come a time where you stop adding like a lunatic into every single name. Yes, but to me that time is not now. Although although as I said on X, I do like the fact that I'm not seeing quantum computing names pop up on my feed on a daily basis anymore. It's as if the people that covered these companies for months and months because the stock went up suddenly lost interest when the stock started to go down. Poof, like magic, like magic. No, nobody's interested in ion q or qubts or whatever. It's very interesting, very interesting. Let's see if I can find you something else. Do I still see PayPal over $90 by March? Well, I still hold my options if that was your question. I still hold that option. Yes. Can I be wrong? Yes, I can, because we are far from it right now. We are far from it right now. We do have this news from the local. We're connecting global businesses with local payment networks across 40 plus emerging markets and through their integration with Circle, the US DC company, enabling real time, low cost conversion between digital and local currencies. X isn't working again. Uh, I am on X here. Seems to be working. Although I'm not going to refresh my page now that you're saying that. Now that you're saying that, I'm not going to refresh my page. Ah, we did cover Amasport not that long ago. Interesting. Interesting. Let's see what the pre-market tells us. Not much, not a big move. Um, do I consider cutting a bit from Google? No, not at all. Not at all. Um, it's a great business. I do not want to. I do not want to sell it. I do not want to sell it. There's no reason to sell it, right? Just because it's up and others are down is not a reason to sell. It's not a reason to sell. Again, the only position where I'm thinking about selling right now is my 169 shares of BMNR. It's the only position because one, it's super small, and two, I do want to add more to CoreWeave. I do want to add more to CoreWeave. My question to myself is, do I add today or do I add after Nvidia reports? That's my question. You might say, "Oh, why you bearish BMNR?" I'm not bearish BMNR, but I've never been like the uber bull on BMNR that I think that this is the best opportunity in the market. I bought it again, so it gets me exposure to that tokenization of the financial infrastructure. It's 169 shares. Yes, it's on purpose. I know, silly, but it is what it is. But here again, if I like another story way more, which I do, I will cut. Simple. Simple. BMNR has been a bloodbath. Yeah, but everything has been a bloodbath. If we're being honest, um, lots of these names are down 20, 30% or so since the peak in October. Since the peak in October. Why don't I buy more PayPal now? Because I have enough exposure, right? I have significant call options in 2027, January ones. I have another one for June 2026, and then I have the smallest piece, I assume. Yeah, still the smallest for March 2026. So I have enough. Plus, I have some shares left. So I've got enough of that right now. But If I didn't have options, I would definitely have my have well, I would definitely buy shares. Why CoreWeave and not Iron or Nebius? Well, I did buy Nebius last week. Why not Iron? Because I like CoreWeave more. As I've always said, I like CoreWeave more. It's Nebius, CoreWeave, Iron for me. Some people might not agree with me. That's completely fine. But I own all three, so I can do whatever I want. But I already added to Nebius. I'm going to add more to CoreWeave probably, depending if it's today or tomorrow or the day after, because it seems like people say, actually, let me pull up CoreWeave. Where is it? Hello. Disappeared. Okay, here it is. So it seems like the market right now does not believe either the backlog for CoreWeave, the $55 billion in backlog, the fact that currently they are the ones generating over $1 billion in revenue. They are the ones with the most GPUs out there, something that they believed here. Definitely they believed it here. They believed it here as well, which is why they bought it up. But now it seems like all of it disappeared. Right? We're back here. Again, I understand the risk that everybody's asking around CoreWeave, or not just around CoreWeave, but around all the others out there. And yes, it's true. If you look at their CDS, that has gone up, could be an issue for them if they want to raise more money to fund all of these projects. But if we're purely looking at the business, they are still the biggest one out there when you look at these AI cloud players, right? They're still the one that have the most exposure to Nvidia. Nvidia, when you look at Nvidia's investment, CoreWeave is still their biggest investment. Yes, they are very close to OpenAI as well, but so are every other companies out there. Backlog is still 55 billion, that almost doubled quarter over quarter. They still, again, nothing to me, nothing has, well, other than that delay, right? That delay that would impact Q4 should be fine by Q1. Nothing much has changed other than sentiment. So I still love Nebius, which is why it's much bigger than CoreWeave, which is why I've added already last week. I like CoreWeave, especially at these prices. I like Iron, although Iron is still 50, close to 50, yeah, 47 or so. It's fine. Again, I have my exposure to that, but I think CoreWeave was punished too much, in my opinion. Let's see. First of all, QNC, thank you for a super chat. I have 100K to invest. This is an hypothetical, I assume. What to buy and in which percentage? I guess this is a question for everyone. We can do a little exercise in the chat. If you had hypothetically 100K right now to invest, where would you put it? And what would you make your biggest position? I guess to me, it won't really change much than what I have right now. I'd still buy Meta, I'd still buy Amazon, Google, definitely SoFi and PayPal. And yeah, and then all the other smaller players as well. Depending, you're asking me or you're asking what? Yeah, of course you're asking an opinion, of course. But yeah, I wouldn't change anything to what I have right now. I would definitely keep cash. Probably right now, yeah, probably something closer to 20% or so if I were to start today, right? If I were to start today, I wouldn't mind like investing 80, keeping 20 on the side. Because to me, there are very, very good companies that are trading at attractive prices today. Especially the big guys, out there, a Meta. And then the smaller ones, yes, PayPal, Shift4, still good prices to find, in my opinion. Uh, for Corey, it's the debt and the lack of profit. Yeah, but the lack of profit has not really been like something nobody knew about, right? We knew this is a business that is scaling and growing quite quickly. Of course, there's not going to be really profit right now. The debt, yes, um, of course, right? If you cannot raise money at attractive rates and you need to fund all of these projects, then it's going to be an issue, of course. But as Corey said, they're not planning on overbuilding because whatever they're planning right now is based on contracts that they're getting, which is definitely good to hear. Martin, am I adding to Duolingo? No, like I said, I have overinvested in Duolingo previously. I took that hit. I admit it. It was a mistake. We move on. I still have my position. Duolingo is entering now a sort of investment phase, focusing on user growth, less on monetization. Of course, if they're successful with user growth acceleration, then they can just do what they've done before with regards to monetization, and that will work out. Right now, if it works out, great, then my losses will be less in the future, but I'm currently allocating my capital to other names out there. Okay, we have some put in the hospital. I have some nice. Okay, people add Amazon, Amazon Meta, Uber, Google, Visa. Well, S&P Global is definitely a very good name. Put it all in Meta. The local. Um, Amazon, PayPal, SoFi, Meta, Google. Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. The local and Circle. Yeah, the announcement. Yes, we've talked about that. Meta is up 700%. Loyer by Meta. Yeah, but that's not a really good argument. Meta is up 700%. Yeah, it's up 10,000% also in the past 10 years or whatever it is. So what? Look at their business. Earnings have grown, revenue has grown. Just because a stock is up a tremendous amount doesn't mean that suddenly it's not a buy anymore. If we look, where are they? Meta, Nvidia. Nvidia is up 10x over the past 3 years. 10x over the past 3 years. Does that mean that it stopped growing today? Still expected to grow 40% or 50% or so. Same with Google, same with Mercado Libre is another great example. But yeah, imagine 10 years ago you were looking at Apple or yeah, let's say Apple. Oh, Apple is up 5,000% in the past 5 years. Yeah, sure, let's buy Apple. Well, guess what? It was up another God knows how much, because you're buying businesses. You're not buying charts. HIMS is a bit in no man's land. 7 minutes, 8 minutes to go. No, 6 minutes to go. A bit in no man's land. On the weekly, you have like a 30, yeah, the 100-day moving average. Winners like to keep winning, exactly, and winners are winning. But especially now, because they're so big, makes it a bit easier. HIMS, yeah, HIMS is again is a bit in no man's land. I don't know, yeah. It is a little bit oversold right now. A little bit oversold at the moment. Apple is a big no-no. I mean, as someone who doesn't like Apple stock but knows that it is one of the best businesses ever created, it's a very expensive name compared to others in that category based on the growth rates and all of that. But yes, it is a name that has done quite well, and it's very simple to see why. It's the user base that they have, highly monetizable user base. It's the insane ecosystem that they have as well. Very few people are going to leave that ecosystem. So yeah, apparently right now it's enough to just refresh an iPhone, refresh a tablet, a MacBook, um, AirPods, whatever. Maybe in the future you'll have AR glasses. Maybe they'll do some home devices as well, and that's enough. They have their ecosystem. It's a very very good ecosystem. Walled garden, high prices, and it works. And it works. But it's not for me. Latest thought on Oscar: uncertainty but cheap. Same as before. People say, "Oh, why don't you buy? The stock is lower." I said it time and time again. I'm waiting to see a bit more information. Waiting to see a bit more information. There are some ideas out there that are floating with regards to people being able to buy their own insurance and how that's going to work. Um, so we'll see if we get more clarity over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I wonder what Cloudflare is doing right now. Probably doesn't really move that much. No, four, wrong. Down 5%. Okay, down 5% because people will realize that of course, that they're probably losing some money right now, but down 5% and showing the world again that Cloudflare is a very, very important company. Very important company. Is Cloudflare outage bullish for Rubrik? No, because I don't think it's a hack. I don't think it's a hack. I think it's just something that went wrong there. I don't know what, but I don't think it has to do with a hack. Although maybe yes, but I haven't seen anything just now. Um, no, it's not a growth company, but you are paying the premium because you can project future free cash flows for this one. It's like Coca-Cola and Pepsi 10 years ago or whatever, right? It was very easy to predict their future free cash flows and you knew it was safe, which is why you were paying a premium. And I think the market right now is saying the same thing with Apple. Look, with everything going on with this AI thing, they're one of the only big tech companies that don't really invest that much in AI, right? The huge capex that we've seen. Siri sucks, but then again, Siri can be upgraded if they do go with Gemini. And so you're looking at a business that is extremely profitable. Yes, again, it might not be growing, but it's an extremely profitable business. And that's good enough for the market. You're getting your buybacks, you're getting your dividend, and that's about it. Um, and that's about it. We have 1 minute and a half left until the market opens. So let me prepare that. Let me prepare that. One momento. Oh yeah, what? Where is the trade desk these days? Still 45? Whoa, 40. Okay, so the trade desk is now even lower than the bottom in April. Okay. Same prices as the bottom back in 2022. Interesting. And no, I know the questions. No, I'm not planning on buying the trade desk. I'm just looking at it right now. Just I know a lot of you do own it. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Where is my heat map? Here it is. 40 seconds. Voila. Let's do this and this. So we are prepared. So we are prepared. When do I plan on cutting my Nebius position? When the business is struggling, which I don't expect anytime soon. Or if we suddenly go up an insane amount and it doesn't really make any sense. But again, I don't think that will happen anytime soon. Now, this is not the heat map for right now, but the market is open, ladies and gentlemen. Ding, 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 bing, bing, bong, bing, bong. Market is open November 18, the day before Nvidia reports their quarterly figures. We have red across the board. right now. Only Google and Uber are green. Well, now only Google. Tiny bit of green. The heat map will update in a bit. The heat map will update in a bit. Voila, updated already right now. And so, what do we actually? BMNR is a tiny bit green. That might help the case. That might help my case for moving funds to CoreWeave. For those that have joined, I have 169 shares of BMNR. Might just take my small loss and put the rest back. Well, not back. Put the rest in CoreWeave. My average in CoreWeave is 94. It's trading now at 74. I think it's a big overreaction. I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. But we'll see. We'll see. So, is it completely updated, this heat map? Let's see. AMD 1.7. Yeah, okay, no, it's fine. Although Google still needs a little refresh. Voila, better, better. Um, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the other names. So we have the Trade Desk at $40 right now. Trade Desk at $40. Google is now, uh, yeah, flat red. Let's call it. Uber is up a little bit. Rubrik is up a tiny bit. Duolingo is up, not really 0.1. Well, it's very much oversold, but barely moving. Same with Shift 4. The biggest loser today for now is again Applied Digital Marvell. Oscar is down 2.4. Nebius 2.2, back under that 100-day. Micron 2.1, but Micron is still quite close to the all-time highs. AMD 1.7, SoFi 1.7 as well. Same with Nvidia. So if Nvidia's implied move tomorrow is 7%, this is what 7% gives us. From the price right now, of course, we don't know what will happen until tomorrow, but it either goes back here to 196, 197 or 171. This is the implied move for Nvidia. It's a 300 and something billion dollar move after earnings. Not today, tomorrow after hours. Tomorrow after hours. Then what do we have? Zeta back at $17. 200-day moving average sits at $16.06. CoreWeave is at $75 or so, still oversold. Amazon did touch the 50, rebounded a little bit. Intel dropped under the 50. Reddit is flat. Meta is down 0.9%. AST is down 2%, also under the 100 here. Actually, what did the S&P do? S&P is down 0.2% right now. A small green candle. We've seen a little bit of a buying action right now. What about the Nasdaq? The Nasdaq is down 0.4. So even deeper today. Even deeper today. This is a good one. This is a good one. Pro tip, if you cry, you won't be able to Face ID to open your brokerage account. Good one. What Nvidia's earnings will mean to AMD stock price? I mean, I don't know. Does it really matter much? Because we already have AMD's earnings. We had AMD's analyst day, so we have all the information we need from AMD from a business perspective. Of course, if Nvidia does not beat expectations and the color during the call is very bad, then I don't think it's just AMD that takes a hit, but the whole market. So if we get some positive commentary, like an insane amount of demand that we've seen, and Blackwell is seeing huge success, etc., I think that should be a positive comments on this whole market. This is Bitcoin for those that are wondering. Bitcoin did drop under $90, not for long. It's also oversold. Now at $92,000. What is going on with the Ethereum? Ethereum is actually up 1.4% right now. Did also drop under $3,000, but it is up currently 1.3%, which BMNR is also up 1.3% right now. Let's have a look at the other names. Mercado Libre. Mercado Libre is still unchanged from yesterday. Klarna. Klarna is down 4.5%. Was down a little bit more. Was down a little bit more. Adobe probably 330 something, 326. So went down even more yesterday. Today it's flat-ish. CRM, Salesforce, same thing, literally the same thing. Sezzle now after Klarna is flat. Okay. As for Dave, is down 0.5%, so we're at $193 right now. $193. Pagaya yesterday took a hit. Yeah, yesterday was down 6%. 6%. Now it's on that 200-day moving average. Basically today down another 1% right now. I still like it. Of course, as you know, last week I did switch. Well, I took the loss of the call option, whatever what was left, bought just straight shares. So now I am a holder of Pagaya through shares. Let us see. Okay, so Iron is up 2.9 right now. Nebius is down 1.3. Okay, but yeah, but Nebius was up yesterday 2.9. So we're now again fighting that 100-day moving average on the daily for Nebius. D-Local is literally flat. D-Local is literally flat. I didn't even notice that yesterday D-Local was down 7%. Wow. Okay. I did not notice. I did not notice that. Interesting. SoFi is back under $27 right now, down 2.2%. Would I buy SoFi at these levels? I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I bought previously at these levels, so I wouldn't mind. I didn't make any acquisition actually yesterday. Acquisition, as if I'm doing here mergers and acquisitions. But yeah, yesterday I didn't buy much, or nothing actually, nothing. What do I think will happen in December? I mean, we still have 2 weeks of November. We still have 2 weeks of November, and it feels like we've been in November for 3 months. But we'll see. No, December is usually a very slow month, right? Because the back half of December, everybody's on vacation, holidays, end of the year, nothing really happens. So I guess all the moves will happen maybe early. We see rate cut, no rate cuts. Santa Claus rally. Seems like Santa Claus is going bankrupt at the moment. but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. VIX. The VIX is at 23. So it keeps going up. VIX keeps going up a little bit. Of course, nowhere near where we were back in April. This was October. In April, we were here. So nowhere near the April highs, but mid-October, that Friday, right? What was it? No, October 10th was the crypto liquidation event. Then here, a week after that, we've had a huge spike in the VIX, then a crash. But right now we're still far away from that top. Far away from that top. What is happening with iron? Nothing. It's up 2.5%. Let's see if we have some news on it, but I doubt. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if we have anything. No. For now, nothing. For now, nothing. Maybe it's some people trying to front run something that will be announced tomorrow after hours. I don't know, but for now, I cannot find anything. Oscar is down 4%. So I believe this is because of some comments that were made. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Come on. Load up. Okay. So it's because of this. The only healthcare I will support or approve is sending the money directly back to the people with nothing going to the big fat rich insurance companies. I wouldn't call Oscar a big fat rich insurance company, but okay. Who have made trillions and ripped off Americans long enough. The people will be allowed to negotiate and buy their own much better insurance. Power to the people. Congress, do not waste your time and energy on anything else. This is the only way to have great healthcare in America. Get it done now. So this is the reason why Oscar is down. Again, in an ideal scenario, and this is something that we've talked about before, in an ideal scenario, people that are getting the money to choose their own healthcare plans, in an ideal scenario, you're going to do that perfectly and everything's going to work out. The marketplace is ready for it. That's in an ideal scenario. I don't think if that ideal scenario exists at the moment. Especially this right here, the people will be allowed to negotiate and buy their own much better insurance. I don't think you negotiate an insurance. Like an insurance is set based on risks and profiles and all of that. People getting money, and with that money, they can buy their insurance, less out of pocket, hopefully a lot less out of pocket. Sounds great. Again, in an ideal scenario, this might work, but I don't think it will. I don't think it will. Plus, we've heard Oscar talk about individual um, healthcare plans. ICRA is going to be big, becoming bigger and bigger. Um, the whole discussion, don't forget, is on the enhanced subsidies, not on the core ACA marketplace. Although, seems like that's also on the table to be completely revamped, and that's why we're seeing Oscar down another 4.4% today, which I'll say the same thing again. Me waiting is exactly why I am okay waiting. Even with my position, I am okay waiting. If the stock price goes lower, but at least I have more information. Um, that's fine. You negative everything. I am not negative everything. I'm just realistic. I'm just realistic. If I was positive everything, I would have told you to buy quantum stocks at $20 billion in market cap and $2 in revenue. Or if you're talking about the watch list here, I don't own all of these names, obviously. Figma down. Figma down, I'm not that surprised. So yeah, Figma, you can now buy Figma. I have to correct myself from yesterday. Figma is now much cheaper than what Adobe would have paid for them 2 years ago or something like that. You negotiate, lol. I've known I've never negotiated my insurance in Belgium. It's like this is the price, this is what you get, and that's it. Um, you don't negotiate. I haven't negotiated with an insurance. I don't know. Do maybe in America? No, I can't read. Maybe in America you negotiate your insurance, but I don't think I can negotiate my insurance in Belgium. Um, can you negotiate in other countries your insurance? I don't know. But going, I leave the chat to answer that question. What do I want to say? Figma. Figma is now much cheaper today, not just because of the market cap being less than $20 billion, but because this company is generating way more revenue today than it did 2 years ago. You have an insurance agent. He negotiates with all the insurers to get me the best deal. But is it for you personally or for your company, for your employees? I guess that is a difference. Like if you get an insurance package for everyone. Um, but then again, if you have an insurance agent, is he taking a cut from that whole budget? I assume, right? It's like a real estate agent or the guy. Yeah, I don't know. Probably, probably. You can get other quotes. Yeah, 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 yeah. You shop around, but you can't negotiate. Again, I assume if you negotiate for like a company or something, um, then maybe it's probably different. But if I look for myself, the only thing that I can do is like you guys say, so I go from one place to the other and see which one offers the best price. Um, and then maybe yeah, I might say, okay, look, I like you guys. Can you match it? And maybe they can do something better. But I've never really had like it costs let's say $100. Can we do 70? So I don't think that's something that exists. Um, but yeah, apologies for the misreading of the negotiate and negative. I was so focused on seeing everything negative in the red here that that negotiate word popped up as negative. My bad. My bad. C limited. Is it down more? No, it rebounded. It rebounded over the last couple of days. They did announce a $1 billion share buyback program because I assume that they believe that they believe that their stock is cheap. They are doing quite well. They are doing quite well, and it is reflected here in the stock price. It is reflected in the stock price. Business is growing. It's becoming better and better. Um, out of all of the names that we have here on the site, you're asking why specifically AMD is down. It's down because everything else is down. There's nothing specific to AMD um, that would tell me this is why AMD is down. But yeah, there's no specific. There is one specific AMD news, but it's not a reason for it to be down. It has something to do with another European supercomputer, I think. Here. So AMD and Evident Compute are powering Alice. Okay, some weird name here. Europe's newest exascale supercomputer and the first based in France. So using AMD EPYC CPUs and AMD Instinct MI430X GPUs, this is expected to surpass 1 exaflop of performance while advancing Europe's AI research and energy efficiency goals. So another one to add to the list of supercomputers powered by AMD. And AMD is down 4% today. you should you should ask why certain stocks are up today. Correct. Correct. Um, not that many though. Not that many though. Is Coca-Cola up? No, it's not. No, it's not. Let's talk about PayPal a bit so we will share the pain. I'm not saying I don't think I've ever said that PayPal can 10x. I do think that PayPal can go back to all-time highs by 2030. I do think so. If they continue to execute and they reach their goals, I do think so, yeah. It is undervalued uh, a lot. Um, but yeah, 10x is a bit is pushing it. Is pushing it. Is pushing it. QNC, thank you for a super chat, and thank you for joining the therapy session. Of course, as I said, I would love to have non-therapeutic sessions, um, but things are red. We have to cover that as well. PepsiCo is up. PepsiCo is up. So PepsiCo's okay. So it did go down. Let's call it 9% from mid-October, and then it bottomed around the start of November, and then it's up 5% since then. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Um, where Melly is up. I mean, Melly wasn't really down before, so yeah, it's up 0.7%. Melly's up 0.7%. Not bad. Not bad at all. Um, Melly's up 0.7%. Actually, I didn't show you PepsiCo, but yeah, PepsiCo, as you can see, topped here, dropped 9%, recovered 5% for now. Recovered 5% for now. Why is everybody from management selling shares from PayPal? Let's see, PayPal insider selling. Let's see what we got from the latest. So yeah, it's mostly, I see here, options execution, and then they sold this position, non-open market. But yeah, we haven't seen anyone buy. We haven't seen anyone buy because they get free share part of the company. Yeah, I mean, of course, especially since a lot of them are new, fairly new to the company, right? Alex Chris came in 2 years ago, and it basically refreshed the whole executive suite. But we've seen Anthony Noto buy SoFi shares when they were down quite a lot. Would be great to see Alex Chris or other people in the management team buy in as well. They shouldn't buy hundreds of millions of dollars worth of shares, but just buy to show confidence. Like, you cannot keep saying, "Oh, we believe you're undervalued. We're doing everything we can, blah blah blah," and not accelerate buybacks. To me, that's number one priority. Accelerate your buybacks, and then um, yes, do an open market buy. Do an open market buy. I checked it. No, I checked it on the Nasdaq's website, or you can check it on PayPal's own investor relations. Just look at the SEC filings there. Marco, Neil, do you suggest this? I would say another down is a buying opportunity, or would it be you're talking about PayPal here or something else? If it's PayPal, I mean, you know me. I think that the risk reward favors the reward, but you need patience with this one. You need patience. What do I think about Chinese stocks? I own Alibaba, and that's about it. I own Alibaba, and that's about it. They do report a week from today. At what point will I give up on PayPal? When the business crumbles, when things do not improve, then I will give up on PayPal. But that's not the case. That's not the case. At least not at the moment. What other name do I want to check? McDonald's. I wonder what they're doing. Okay, so it seems like PepsiCo, McDonald's, they've same thing here, right? They had a small top in October, dropped, bottomed at the start of November. McDonald's, PepsiCo, any other names in that specific? Which one could I don't know. I don't think Starbucks follows the same thing, but you never know. Not really. Not really. Coca-Cola, we checked. It doesn't do that. What is Lowe's doing? Yeah, not great either. Not great either. Home Depot after 2 days is probably down. Yep, down 3%, although it did see buyers kicking at around 340 or so. Uh, Procter and Gamble. Let's see. No, but Procter and Gamble also peaked here, October, but didn't really get that bump like the other two. Yesterday I checked Colgate, or 2 days ago. Also, it's down 30% or so year to date. Not great, but you can clearly see that these companies peaked mid to end October. In this case, we did see it go up a little bit from the bottom here at the start of November. Now, Chipotle, there's no way this thing. Yeah, Chipotle had that horrible earnings. Well, horrible earnings. It wasn't the cheapest one out there, but wasn't a good one. Wasn't a good one. So yeah, that's not a good example. Hershey's. I mean, I think the price of cacao is still quite high, but okay. But this one, start of October, peaked, dropped. Start of November, started to recover. Okay, okay. Marco, you're talking in general. In general, again, you cannot generalize everything because some names are very cheap, some others are not cheap yet. It's very different, very difficult to generalize. But yeah, there are some cheap names today and even last week. I think analysts are of 6% revenue growth on PayPal, so the 4P is lower than 10 right now. Yeah, but you're talking revenue and then you're talking earnings. They're expected to grow earnings faster. Of course, buybacks do help here as well. Buybacks do help here as well. There is no way. There is no way. There is a way. What the heck is this? So IonQ is green today. I assume if IonQ is green, Rigetti is flat. Okay, at least that. Quantum computing is up 2.3%. D-Wave is down 1.6. I guess there's not enough pain in the market if these things are green. This is not normal. Google is now down 1.2. Google is now down 1.2. So whoever jinxed this, I remember you. Start of the stream. Google should not be green. Cannot be green if everybody is red. Well, here. Look at what you've done. Now it's down 1.3%. Now it's down 1.3%. But yeah, all in all, this is the heat map right now. Going into AMD is down 5.3. Let's actually see if maybe there is an analyst note that came out, although it doesn't really change much. Like AMD last week projected $20 in EPS 3 to 5 years from now. It's a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. Let's see if I can find some interesting data before we actually go out and breathe some fresh air. Because guess what? Guess what? Even with the stock market coming down a little bit, the world continues to go round and round and round. Okay, so 11 minutes ago, Cloudflare said that the fix is implemented. Believe incident is now resolved. Fear and greed index is at the lowest level since April 2025, but that thing is pure BS. Um, April 2025, the S&P was down 20 plus percent year to date or something. So we're still far away from that. We're still far away from that. We have Saudis coming to the United States. A senior US official says the US and Saudi Arabia are expected to announce a multi-billion-dollar deal to invest in America's AI infrastructure. Not surprised. I think that's about it. I think that's about it. Um, have I ever blown up my account since investing? Meaning, if I ever went to zero? No, never. Because up until a month ago, I never touched options. And even right now, my options are still like leaps. It's not next week or something like that. So, luckily, no. Did I ever have like shitty companies in my portfolio that were down 50, 60% and I took a loss on them? Of course. Of course. Back in 21, 22. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Um, the AI bubble is literally bursting. Positive news have zero effect on anything. I think it's a good thing, no? I think it's a good thing. In a actual bubble, everything would have gone up on no news. Now we have good news and it doesn't go up. Yeah, this was this was the lucky shirt. This was the lucky shirt. It has been delucked. It is not a lucky shirt anymore, it seems. Oh well, we'll try something else now. We shall try something else. Anyways, that's all. I think that's all for now. Um, no, actually, no. Something big, apparently. So, who's ready? Apparently, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Anthropic announced strategic partnership. Anthropic has committed to purchase $30 billion of Azure compute capacity and to contract additional compute capacity up to 1 gigawatts. Nvidia and Microsoft are committing to invest up to $10 billion and up to $5 billion, respectively, in Anthropic. So I guess people will again say, "Oh, look, this company invests in that company. That company is going to spend money into that company. Ooh, it's all a scam." Again, when you think about it, it's exactly what has happened throughout the last 25 years or so. VCs or other invest in certain companies. They also own another company, and they're like, you know what? We'll invest in you. Use that money to use the service of that other company. Okay, they do that, and those companies become bigger and bigger. But again, at least it's coming from an Nvidia and Microsoft who have the money. But yeah, I understand the way these things look, right? I understand the way these things look, but still, if it works, who cares? Like if Anthropic does become bigger and bigger and more successful, right? The reason why OpenAI has become so big is also because Microsoft invested a significant amount in them 6 years ago. If they didn't get that financial push, OpenAI probably wouldn't have been where they are today. And a lot of other companies probably wouldn't have been where we are today. But yeah, but remember, Anthropic announced last week, I think, that they were planning on investing $50 billion or so in the United States or in AI expansions. So we know here that Nvidia and Microsoft are going to invest 10 and 5 billion respectively into Anthropic. Anthropic heavily backed by Google and Amazon as well. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Thanks for a super chat. Monster, BMNR, Figma, Circle, best DCA stock. Well, unfortunately for you, I am not going to say that these names are Other than Figma, which is the only actual company here, the others are crypto stablecoin. Um, I think there are better opportunities in the market right now. They should stop announcing these deals. I mean, usually previously when they announced these types of deals, things were going up and to the right. But now, yeah, it's fine. When you will look at this a couple of months from now, maybe a year from now, or something like that, uh, these deals would have probably gone under the radar. But these are huge deals for the future. Huge deals for the future. Nvidia touched the 100-day moving average. It's at $180 right now. CoreWeave continues its way down. It continues its way down. Might lose $70. Might lose $70. Yeah. Um, but yeah, all in all, that's it for now. That's it for now. Not the best day out there, that's for sure. Not the best day out there. This is basically it. This is basically it. Reds, red across the board. Some green in some sectors here. The Merck is green. But all in all, whether you want to believe it or not, I do think that tomorrow for Nvidia's earnings report, it's a big deal. I think it's going to be a big deal what they report for the short term, because it's all sentiment based right now. When you think about it, all of these companies, they reported their quarterly figures a couple of weeks ago, right? A couple of weeks ago, they all reported their quarterly figures. Now that the stock is down, has something changed with regards to these companies? No, right? No, sentiment has changed. Sentiment has changed, stock price has changed. So if you again doubt, this is why it's important to understand what you own. Because when you know what you own, then what is happening right now shouldn't really worry you. Because you know, okay, I own this company, they just reported great quarter, good guidance, good commentary. What's changed? The stock is cheaper today. Unless, of course, there is some structural changes that have happened over the last couple of weeks that did affect these types of companies. Fair enough. Maybe these companies were overvalued a month ago. Also, fair enough. But purely fundamentally, business wise, did something change? To me, no. To me, no. Now you're going to say, okay, nothing changed. Why don't you go all in? I don't see a reason why I should ever go all in. You just dollar cost average, you see how things evolve, you follow the companies, you know what you own, you'll sleep much better at night. Yes, we will probably still have therapy sessions in the future. It's normal. Corrections or some retracements are normal. It's healthy, especially if you want to continue a already 3-year long bull market. So um, we still have maybe a rate cut in December. We still have this week unemployment rate, unemployment data. Plus, I do think FOMC minutes and second revision or third revision of GDP growth. One of the two, second or third, I don't know. Nvidia reports tomorrow evening. And we do have some analyst conferences. Like I said, PayPal is also on tomorrow. So we still have a lot of information coming our way. So don't freak out. Don't freak out, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of the companies that you do own in your portfolio are still good companies. They're not crappy companies. They haven't really changed from a month ago. If they reported good earnings, even better, because you can buy now cheaper shares of a great company that reported great earnings, maybe even good guidance. It's not bad, right? It's not bad. I admit it's not great. It's not fun to see your portfolio down in value, especially in a short period of time. But as you've seen previously, these crashes, they happen quite quickly. So the pain is a lot of pain, I would say, in the short run. But then things start to recover also quite rapidly. I'll say it again. I rather have a correction that happens in a month than a correction that lasts 12 months. Like slow and steady death is worse than poof, you go to sleep and you never wake up. I don't know why we went so dark to end the stream, but I hope I make some sense here, some sense here. Um, anyways, anyways, have a great rest of your day, and we shall see each other tomorrow again, bright and early, and probably also a stream for Nvidia's earnings report. Maybe with Jose, hopefully with Jose, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, have a great rest of your day. Keep calm, keep investing for the long run,